All right. It's time to talk about, well, I'm not going to talk about it. The director, Nathan Faudree, is going to talk about it. And hopefully I pronounced his name correctly. He is joining us on the Film Threat Livecast to tell us about his film today, Site 13. I cannot wait to hear about the behind the scenes of this film. And Nathan, he has a storied career. This is crazy. Just as a writer and actor, he was okay. And not only this, one of my favorite trauma films, Poultrygeist, he provided monster noises. This is the most diverse career when you look at his resume. He was even in a Marvel fan film called Killgrave. And this film, Site 13, was a horror. It's a found footage horror film that's sort of Lovecraftian in nature that he spent 17 years working on. And Nathan is here on the Film Threat Livecast. 500 people watching us live. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'm so happy you're here with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I mean, I'm just so happy that I got to follow a discussion of nudity and gyration. So, I mean, really, that's the best introduction I could possibly get.
Well, nudity and Oppenheimer. But I got to know for this film, Site 13, and just to let people know, this movie is now on video on demand.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Came out today.
Came out today on VOD. Nathan, tell us about the film. And how did this thing take 17 years?
Well, I didn't work on it every day for 17 years. That would be completely insane. I only was marginally insane. And, I came on board the project, as an actor. I had worked with Tony Urban, who was the original director. And he wanted to do a found footage movie. And I had worked with him on such storied films as Cottontail, where I played a killer Easter bunny. Yes, my mother was very proud and happy that all of those classes of Shakespeare that I took, finally paid off. Anyway, we did this found footage movie. It was all improvised. It was, Tony came up with the idea of what it was about and told us what our characters were. And then I went kind of crazy with the mythology a little bit, and we went and filmed it. And Tony retired about, 6 months later. He retired he got sick of the film business and retired to become an author. He's written several books now. He's a photographer. And so, anyway, so he was done. We were just like, oh, that's too bad. That actually, there was some cool stuff in that footage, I think. And I would talk periodically with Kelly Ray, one of the other actresses in it, and over the years, and we would go, Site 13, there was some good stuff in that. Too bad that it'll never see the light of day. And, about 10 years later, I came up with an idea that I would film a present day portion and use the old footage as, as flashback material. And, mainly born out of this idea that I might be getting away with something I only have to film half a movie. That didn't end up I didn't get away with anything. I, ended up having to edit 3 movies essentially. But yeah, so I approached Tony and said, here's my idea. He said, I think I've got the footage on a hard drive in the attic somewhere. And so I started writing based off of what I could remember from 10 years ago. And he sent me the footage, and then it really was a series of just calling in favors after that point. I mean, because I like you said, I'd worked on a bunch of different like little indie projects over the years, and so this was my chance to call in those favors and go, hey guys, remember when I worked on your movie? Guess what? I'm doing a movie now. So we started filming, and that was in 2016. And then it took a long time through post-production because, then we had to edit the present day movie, the old movie, and then we had to put those 2 movies together. So all of that energy that I thought I was saving by only having to shoot half a movie ended up being taken up in the post-production. But yeah, kept going with it.
Wow. Well, first of all, I got to compliment you on your bats in the background. I
Thank
love
you.
the little bat
Thank
themed
you.
stuff. I am also obsessed with bats. My car is kind of Batman themed. I love that. But you may have, I don't know if it's the records that, and you're right, you didn't work on it every day for 17 years, but a 17-year span from beginning to release that's nuts. But also, like, I love that kind of like just stick with itness to like not give up. Like, I've been working on a documentary for over 10 years that may see the light of day next year. We'll see. And
Nice.
David Lynch famously, when he made Eraserhead, that was over the course of years. I think almost 10 years he spent working. It was like a college project that he sort of kept working on it. It's crazy. But we've got a lot of questions in the chat. Oh my God, the chat's on fire. So let's get to some of these chat comments and questions. Akanika says, welcome, Nathan. Solomon Thornton, welcome, Sir Nathan. Lubitch Touch Me asks, what would you say is the horror film that influenced you the most to want to make horror films?
Oh, Evil Dead. Evil Dead, easily. That was the one. Actually, it was Evil Dead 2. That was the one that really showed me that horror movies could be fun. That was sort of my entrance into it, because up until that point, I was terrified of horror movies and I wouldn't watch them. And I was a little scaredy cat. And when I saw Evil Dead 2, that was when I was like, oh wait, these are kind of awesome. And that was my entrance. And Sam Raimi is a god.
Cool. And then Sons and Shadows became a member. Nice. But here, this is interesting. Just watched the trailer, gave me vibes of Prince of Darkness and The Ring, says Introspect M.
100% Prince of Darkness. 100%. I listened to the soundtrack while I was writing the script.
Cool. Dawn of Mutilation says, and on the theme of cosmic horror, do you know what the SCP Foundation is? And if so, any chance on doing something with that? Site 13 is an SCP too.
I had only discovered this probably about 7 years into the project. So it was like sort of like, I don't know a lot about SCP right now, but it was one of those things that I'm like, oh, this seems really interesting. And so I have not done a deep dive in it yet, but it is in my wheelhouse, and that is kind of my jam. So I'm investigating.
Cool. And then Spidey Sensei 72. This guy might actually beat Chris for coolest hair. Hey guys, come on.
Okay, let's not go crazy here. It's good, but not that good.
Razorburn says, any future plans to put the movie on DVD, Blu-ray? Will it have cool extra material? I would love to see that, because the behind the scenes of how this project came to fruition is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, the as with everything with this movie, it's a slow rollout, So right now we're at North America. Next will be worldwide, and I assume that probably by the time I actually get it out on DVD, Blu-ray, we will be able to accurately say that it's a 25th anniversary.
Cool. And Davina Duckworth, just to add context, says SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect, which is the organization's motto. She goes on to say, fans of weird internet fiction use SCP as shorthand for the Special Containment Procedures Foundation, a fictional organization that investigates, captures, and contains paranormal phenomena.
I want to work on that movie. That sounds amazing.
Solomon Thornton, any advice for new filmmakers, and what is the best way to budget a film?
The biggest thing that I found is that as far as like with budget, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. Like I knew that I was not going to get like Ralph Fiennes or Anthony Hopkins to be in this movie, so I didn't have to come up with a huge budget. But the thing is that they don't charge you the budget up front. It's not like they go, okay, this movie's going to cost this amount of money to make. You have to pay that now. We just started making the movie. And as stuff came along, we paid for it. If we couldn't get it for free, if we couldn't get someone else to, volunteer their services. So that's my advice is to just start going. Just do it. It'll take a long time. That's the only thing with that route is that it's not easy. but I learned so much making this movie that, you know, like, I can only hope that the future movies are going to be even better because of it.
Right. Let's see. Was Blair Witch one of your inspirations to film in that style?
100%. That, like, initially, the initial found footage idea was filmed in 2003. So that was like right at the tail end of the whole Blair Witch thing, where everybody was excited by that. So that was absolutely the inspiration. By the time we came back to it, that was almost a that was almost a detriment at that point, with so many people going like, "Oh, this is a Blair Witch ripoff." So that's why that inspired the whole present day sequence.
Well, Blair Witch, technically speaking, is also a ripoff of what's that film? Is it
Cannibal Holocaust?
Cannibal Holocaust. That's it.
Yeah.
Zodlander for 20 Swedish krona. I love the trailer. Where can I see it in Sweden?
It will be coming out worldwide later this year.
Okay, that's great to hear. And then Greasy Guido says, I see H.P. Lovecraft mentioned in the movie description. Are there any Lovecraftian type creatures? Maybe you don't want to say.
There are.
Okay.
Initially I thought I was going to, I was approaching it with the idea of doing it Lovecraft, because in Lovecraft stories, they always talk about the monster and you never really see it. But when I was writing the script, I realized if I just have people talking for the entire thing and they never see a monster, they're going to set me on fire. So we put a monster in. There is.
Yeah. Question. I get motion sick easy. Will I be able to watch Site 13? Asks Imperfect.
Yes, because most of it is not found footage.
Okay. Oh, how do you pronounce your last name? Asks Akanika.
You did pronounce it correctly, Faudree. Yeah.
Oh, Faudree. Awesome. And also goes on to say, how do you keep your hair so on point? Looks great.
Thank you. My boyfriend is a hairstylist, so I got lucky.
So you get a good discount.
Absolutely. I mean, we all pay in certain ways, but you know, yeah.
I'm sure he experiments once in a while.
Oh yeah. So,
And
but
then-
I got a good one right now.
And then, do you have any future projects you're currently working on?
Yeah, I actually have a movie with Barb House, which is the one that produced A Wounded Fawn, that I co-wrote. And so a new script of mine called Penitent will be filming this fall. We've got some cool names that are almost attached to it, so we'll see. But because it's an independent film, we've got the SAG waiver, which is good. So they can keep filming.
That's the best thing about independent film. I mean, independent film, they're calling it the dumb buzzword now is decentralized. It's independent film. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really hoping that the upshot of a lot of this, these waivers, is that we get another wave of, that independent film wave, like in the 90s and the 70s.
It's going to be, I believe it's going to be a new golden age of indie film.
I
believe
really,
that's what's coming. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as it doesn't affect Dune Part 2 and the Marvels from coming out, I hope the strike goes on longer, because I can't wait for both of those movies.
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah. Dawn of Mutilation, will we get more cosmic horror from you? I hope so.
I love cosmic horror, just because it's so different and we haven't had a lot of it. Yeah, so it's hard to pitch cosmic horror though, because a lot of people don't understand it. You know, a lot of the people with money, shall we say, do not understand it's an entity from beyond our dimension, as opposed to it's a demon. You know, so a lot of the times I will say demon in the script and then sneak in extra dimensional entity later.
Cool. Well, just want to say, Nathan Faudree, thank you so much for being on the show today. Site 13 is on video on demand today. Rent it, buy it, get it. It's on all the VOD platforms, I assume. And then do me a favor though, don't wait another 17 years to make a movie.
I know. I'm like really hoping the next is maybe just 3 or 4 years. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a reasonable amount of time for an
so,
independent film. Fantastic. And where can people find you on social media? If you're on social media,
I'm most active on Instagram, so it's at Danger Yak, which is the production company. So DANGERYAK, Danger Yak.
Danger Yak. Love it. Follow Danger Yak on Instagram. Nathan, it was a pleasure talking to you today. Congratulations on the film. You did not, this is what I like to tell independent filmmakers. You want to be successful, there's one thing. Never give up.
Absolutely.
Never give up. And your journey just really inspired me. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. I mean, I'm really glad to have this be part of my journey. So
Cool.
thanks, guys.
Take care, Nathan. Have a great rest of your day and weekend.